Before we dive in, remember to subscribe to The Automated for sharp analysis on AI, geopolitics, and the future. If you want to understand where the world is headed to, you're in the right place. The world isn't just shifting, it's being redesigned in real time. Every major power is making moves to secure its position in the next global order. Finance, trade, military alliances, everything is being recalibrated. Some moves are obvious, others are happening quietly. But the goal is the same: strategic control over the future. Let's start with Bitcoin. There's a growing discussion around a strategic Bitcoin reserve. The US isn't accumulating Bitcoin because it believes in decentralization. It's doing it because it wants to control its role in global finance. With China, Russia, and BRICS nations actively working to de-dollarize, the US needs a hedge. If Bitcoin becomes a true global reserve asset, whoever controls the liquidity controls the rules. By securing a large portion of Bitcoin supply, the US ensures that even if the world shifts away from the dollar, America still dictates the financial system. This isn't about abandoning the dollar, it's about ensuring the US remains the center of financial gravity. Now, tariffs. Tariffs aren't rational economic policy, they are weaponized tools of power. Historically, tariffs weren't just used to regulate trade, they were a primary source of government revenue. Before income taxes, countries relied heavily on tariffs to fund their governments. The US, the UK, and most European powers built their early economies on import duties, taxing foreign goods to sustain domestic industries. Now today, tariffs are no longer just about revenue. They're about control, leverage, and punishment. They're being used strategically, not just to punish rivals, but to reshape industrial supply chains. For decades, the dominant model was simple: offshore manufacturing, maximize profits, lower costs. But that era is being forcibly unwound. The tariffs make it more expensive to manufacture abroad and sell into the US, effectively forcing companies to rethink their strategies. Chip manufacturers, they're backing away from the US. Some are moving operations, some are delaying investments, and some are looking for alternative ways to navigate the new trade barriers. And the effect isn't just domestic, it's spreading globally. Indian suppliers, they're already seeing purchase orders canceled, not because of immediate policy changes, but because companies are preemptively hedging against expected tariffs. This is the new reality. Markets don't wait for official announcements, they react before the policies even take effect. And in Germany, the shift is happening fast as well. For decades, German defense spending was restricted by political and economic constraints. But now, that's changing. Defense spending, just at around 1% of GDP, is now exempt from Germany's debt brake. 500 billion euros are set to be invested in infrastructure, industrial capacity, and military expansion. This isn't just a NATO obligation, it's a long-term strategic move. A more militarized Germany means a new power balance in Europe. Germany is positioning itself for a future where it plays a larger role in European security. And that means a fundamental shift in how power is distributed across the continent. Now, Putin has agreed to a partial ceasefire for 30 days. But this isn't just a pathway to peace, it's a negotiation move. He has set conditions for a long-term agreement, such as a total stop to Western intelligence sharing with Ukraine, and an end to all military aid from NATO countries. Now, this is a direct challenge to how Western governments operate. The conflict is no longer just about Ukraine. It's about whether governments can move at starved speed to respond. And that's the real shift happening globally. Governments used to be slow-moving bureaucracies. Every policy shift required committee approvals, long-term studies, diplomatic back and forth. Now, governments are acting like startups. The DOGE department, Elon Musk's, has essentially stripped away traditional guardrails on executive power. What used to take months of internal approvals can now happen overnight. Sanctions, tariffs, and financial controls are being implemented in days, not years. Defense policies and military deployments are moving in weeks, not months. Tech and AI regulation, economic realignments, industrial policy, all happening at a pace that wouldn't have been possible a decade ago. Now, Putin's demands aren't just about Ukraine. He's testing whether the West can keep up. Now, can governments respond as fast as markets? Can diplomacy match the pace of technological change? Can nations shift strategy at starved speed, or will they get stuck in old systems? This is the real global battle. Not just war, not just economics, but the speed of power. And even academia isn't immune. At a university that I'm very familiar with, we're seeing this firsthand. US government grants were suddenly frozen, then partially reinstated, then placed under review. Funding decisions are no longer just bureaucratic, they're geopolitical. Universities are now being pulled into compliance crackdowns, foreign assistance reviews, and national security frameworks. Academia was once seen as neutral, but now it's part of this entire power struggle. Universities must decide, align with Western policy goals or risk losing funding and partnerships. This isn't just about research anymore, it's all about geopolitical alignment. Now, the global reshuffle, what's next? The strategic Bitcoin reserve to secure financial dominance, tariffs as a weaponized tool of economic warfare, UK bringing itself back into Europe, UK pulling the US into the conflict and potentially blaming Trump for alignment with Russia, Germany moving towards military and industry expansion, Putin agreeing to a 30-day ceasefire only if Western aid to Ukraine stops, Ukraine and France moving into operational deployment in Ukraine, academic institutions now caught in the geopolitical crossfire, DOGE and the removal of guardrails in government, governments accelerating decision-making at our speed, and uncertainty as the new norm. This isn't just about reactionary policy, it's a complete restructuring of the global order. And if you're not paying attention, you're already behind.